Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you enjoy this sort of movie chatter. It helps us keep bringing you the latest reviews, even if Marvel threatens to send the century after us. Have you ever gone to a movie just hoping for epic battles, but end up feeling like you crashed someone's awkward therapy session instead? That was my experience walking out of Thunderbolts just 20 minutes ago. Uh, I'll say this up front. Marvel diehards will have a good time. The cast brings their A game, and if you've kept pace with all the recent Disney Plus series, especially Black Widow, you'll catch plenty of winking callbacks and satisfying payoffs. For families, there's action, plenty of jokes, and those all important post credit scenes. Um, Trust me, the last stinger alone makes waiting through the credits absolutely worth it. Um, Digging a little deeper, Thunderbolts isn't just explosions and jokes. The movie does take its time to rev up, and several scenes are so dripping with cheesy dialogue that I half expected someone to bring out the fondue set. You better be a Marvel regular, because if you haven't been keeping score with this crew across earlier films, you might feel a bit lost in all the emotional unpacking. Uh, uh, Florence Pugh returns as Yelena, and honestly, she's the MVP. While her story starts heavy, she's still mourning her sister. Um, Pugh can flip from brooding to brutal in a flash. The opening fight where she mows down a small army, choreography gold. You just can't help wishing she'd lean more into her fierce side and less into moping. Um, Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Val steals every scene, but not always for the best reasons. From her cringeworthy lines about feminism to her over-the-top antics during an impeachment hearing, she sometimes feels like she's wandered in from a completely different Marvel parody. Um, then there's David Harbour as Red Guardian, who's finally found his groove. Um, he's far funnier and more likable here than he ever was in Black Widow. Um, the moment with the young girl will probably drop your jaw if you're a fan of Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Get hyped. Her unique skill set really takes things up a notch. And Wyatt Russell nails his role as John Walker, making likability and obnoxiousness his superpowers. And then, all of the American research taskmaster returns and briefly. No complaints there. Olga Kurilenko version pops in, pops out, and the audience collectively sighs in relief. Sebastian Stan is back as Bucky Barnes, or rather, Congressman Bucky Barnes, which is as implausible as it sounds, but he somehow makes it work. Honestly, the movie leans heavily on his presence to hold the team together. The real surprise, though, was Lewis Pullman as the Sentry. He brings a energy that's magnetic, even if the character could have used more screen time and more depth. That fight between Sentry and the Thunderbolts, that's how you talk about superhero spectacle and the special effects finally feel up to Marvel's gold standard. The main conflict is straightforward. Val sets things in motion. The team bands together to bring her down. And in a twist, the Sentry turns on her, becoming Void and going on a rampage. All right. There's a lot of soul-searching dialogue, especially from Yelena, that ends up dragging things out of it. Eventually, everyone hugs it out. Yes, literally. And Yelena even smiles for a second. If you ever wanted to see supervillains have a group therapy session followed by a group hug, your oddly specific wish just came true. Val looks like she might wiggle her way out of trouble just in time to maybe lead the new Avengers.
Yeah, it's as awkward as it sounds.
By the time the credits roll, you'll know like Marvel's already cooking up the next big crossover. The post-credit scene drops a major hint about two separate groups of new Avengers squaring off, possibly headed for an Avengers Doomsday face-off, and makes you wonder where the big names like Captain America and Spider-Man have disappeared to this time. As a little tip, if you want a free spoiler for what's next, check out the credits playlist. And Marvel really couldn't resist dropping a musical hint about who and what's coming up. Ultimately, Thunderbolts lands in that upper half of post-Endgame Marvel movies. Big action, plenty of fun, but maybe a little too eager to serve up Marvel group therapy instead of a breakneck joyride. Still, it's the kind of film that's hard not to watch. If you follow these characters this long, the time of having many out of 10 points and hoping next time the Thunderbolts spend less time hugging and more time punching. Oh, and here's a joke for you. Why don't the Thunderbolts ever agree on where to go for lunch? Too many group sessions, not enough group decisions. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,